Got
It
it.
was funny, it wouldn't let me in without, had to go in through, I couldn't go in through the calendar invite
Mhm.
because Dawn wasn't on the call to let me in the waiting room. It said you can bypass the waiting room if you log in through like your ASU Zoom account. So I had
Yeah,
to go onto my Zoom account and then join the meeting that way.
I use my ASU
So,
login for Zoom as well. Okay, let's see here. Let me situate my screen. Here we go. Let's get
you're
rid
going to family tonight?
I have, what do I have? I've already saw my family. I'm actually working in Louisville. I'm in my hotel room right now. We have a competition this
Hmm,
week. And so my parents
nice.
live nearby, and so I decided to go see them, and see how they were doing.
Nice.
Yes.
All right.
My partner got them a digital canner. So like canning, like water bath canning,
Uh-huh.
canning, all of that. So he got them a digital pressure canner. So I
Yeah.
brought that to them. So they're very excited to use it. So, okay.
Nice.
Yeah. How's your week going?
Good. This is the last thing I have to do. I turned in all my other projects. Yesterday, I worked all day on a project for another class
Yeah.
and got that turned in. And so once this is done and I do the co-mentoring assignment, then I'm done
Oh,
for
that's nice.
session A. So
I did 15 credit hours last spring. And so like I know your pain. Like I like to have like so I was like, oh, I'm not in a hurry. I'm never gonna do that again.
you did three in one session last year
Yeah, I
or
sure
last semester?
I sure did.
Yeah.
Because I was like,
Yeah.
let's do it.
Yeah, I only did it because I want to graduate in
Yeah.
the summer. So I'm like,
Okay.
I'm just going to bite the bullet. So next
I agree.
session is just two classes. So hopefully that'll feel like, but one of those is is my, like that pro seminar one class.
Okay.
So, and then another, just a regular elective class, I think. So
Yeah.
hoping that won't be too daunting.
Yes. Well, congrats on being done. One day I'll be
Yeah.
done too.
You will. Before you know
Yeah.
it, I was like, I remember when I started, I was like looking at all the classes I had to take. I'm like, oh, it's almost like 2 years. I'm never gonna get there. And then it's like,
And
wow,
here
it's not
you
that far
are.
away now.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Um, so the easy thing about this week's prompts is that it's just all from here. So,
right.
so yeah, do you just want to go through each prompt and
Sure.
okay. Why don't
Yep.
you why do
So
you
so
start?
the first one
Yeah.
is about the rites of passage. What are some upcoming rites of passage in your personal and professional life? So I have a few upcoming rites of passage in my personal life. The first is graduation from the OGL leadership program in August. The second is hopefully a promotion to director after completion of my degree. And then the third is my wedding to my fiance. And then the fourth is celebrating the graduation of my oldest son
Mhm.
in December. And then finally, then my son and daughter-in-law will be moving out of state for my daughter-in-law to complete her PhD. So that'll be a big deal for them and a big deal for her mom and I because we're so used to having them right around the corner, And it'll be like completely other coast. It looks like they're probably going to end up in University of Buffalo, Buffalo, New York. So
Okay. You have a lot
yeah.
coming. But also sounds like well, everything that you're talking about is really like you've been laying the groundwork for all of this for a very long time. So,
Yeah.
you know,
So I'm hoping it comes to fruition, like with the promotion. There's no guarantee on that, but if they don't do it, then I'll be looking at other companies or I'll be looking at other positions within the organization and other divisions because
yeah.
I've been doing this too long now and
Mhm.
yeah.
Well,
So
all of your experience is really gonna help along with the degree as well, so
the degree is a check the box for my organization, to be honest.
yeah.
So I'm hoping, I mean, I learned a lot along the way. I'm not saying that I didn't learn, you know,
Yeah.
stuff, but anyways,
Mm.
we'll see. So how about
Okay.
you?
Okay, so I just kind of really talked about one, and it's personal. So I actually just hit 10 years of recovery, February 22nd of 2024. The backstory to that is that
Mhm.
I sat in someone's driveway at 3 a.m. figuring out how I was going to ask for help. I finally decided to write a note with a pen and paper I found in my car.
Mhm.
I crept up to their door and slid the note between the frame of the door and the door itself. They have a dog and it heard me and began to bark. This person came to my house the next day
What
at
time was this? 3 in the
3 in the morning. Yes. They came to my house the next
morning?
day and they were like, "What's your plan?" And I was like, "I don't have one." And so then I went to outpatient rehab and I stayed with them for
Mhm.
6 months. And that was 10 years ago. Um, and then I know this from what they shared with me.
Wow.
Yeah, the night that I left my note, they opened the door and saw me driving off, and they found my note, and they still have it in their
Mhm.
nightstand. So
Mhm.
yeah, so yesterday I hit 10 years of recovery, and
That's amazing, Michael.
nah, thanks. School in and of itself is like a product of that because I've always wanted to go back. And so it's nice to be able to do that. So that's really my rite of passage, if you will, is my continued journey on to I don't know.
Absolutely.
Yes. So yeah,
That's a huge journey. Makes my little rights piddly compared to that. I mean, that's a
no.
huge
I mean,
milestone in your life. Absolutely.
thanks. I mean, it hasn't been perfect. I've had to pick in that 10 years, I've definitely fallen down. I've gotten back up. I've, all the
Mhm.
things, and there've been like good moments, bad
Yeah.
moments. But I'm very pleased with who I am today. So, yes.
Nice. Did you meet your partner before or after all that?
After all of that, I've been with my partner now for about 18 months. And
Mhm.
prior to him, I was really single for about 4 years. And
Mhm.
then I had a relationship prior to that I had to learn a few things about like good boundaries and
Yeah.
walking away when I should and like who am I in relation to a relationship. And but yeah, I
Mhm.
met Aaron in July of 2022 really. So it's been pretty good.
Nice.
Yeah. Um, so do you want to do like a screen share to share your slides?
Yes.
Okay.
I ended up, it says pick two or more slides. I just kind of zeroed in on 4 slides. So tell me if it's overkill.
That's fine. I picked two. I'm at the end.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, here's the minimum. Go ahead.
Well, I can just do two too. There you go. So let's see here. What are some of your favorite PowerPoint slides, either in terms of commentary you've written, media you've created, or the other, just pick a few to show via Zoom or email? Um, so when my ex-husband and I separated, my son was just, I don't know if he just had gotten engaged or was with his wife or about to get engaged anyways. So this was about, your hand is an extension of your heart, give it freely. This quote reminds me of the first Valentine's Day after I'd separated from my ex-husband. My son's mother-in-law, okay, yeah, she was already his mother-in-law, who has become a very close friend of mine, came over and surprised me with flowers and candy. She put a smile on my face. She knew exactly what I would be feeling, that I would be feeling sad on this day, and she pulled me back up out of the sadness.
That's a
So,
great quote. I really appreciate your hand is an extension of your heart. Give it freely. I think that's really cool.
yeah, let's see what was one of my other slides. When I use this other screen, okay, where's 69? This one. So The quote from Moss was that friendship lasts longest. If there is a chance of it being successful in which friends both give and receive gifts, a man ought to be a friend to his friend and repay gift with gift. People should meet smiles with smiles and lies with treachery. So I remember the sense of accomplishment after completing this mud run with my brother-in-law. I trained for a few weeks. It was taxing with the obstacle courses and having to wade through ice cold pools, climb in and out of large containers, climb up cargo nets, jump over fire, etc. What a sense of pride I felt after crossing the finish line, hence the big smile. It was wonderful to share this experience with my friend slash brother-in-law, and I felt privileged to create a memory that I can look back on so many years later.
Yeah, that's really
And
cool.
then I found this. I chose to run towards my problems and not away. It's from Thor.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
anyways, he had a quote here from Thor. He had put Thor here, and I found a quote from Thor. So,
Yeah.
anyways,
What were your other two slides?
all right. Oh, go back. Say 40, slide 40, 43. So this is about rite of passage. The rite of eating and drinking together is clearly a rite of incorporation. Often the sharing of meals is reciprocal, and there is thus an exchange of food, which constitutes the confirmation of a bond. So this passage reminds me of turning 21. I was so excited to have my first official cocktail without having to worry about being carded. I remember feeling so grown up and thought I had finally made it into adulthood. And this picture right here of these people,
Mhm.
you know, parting with their bong, I just thought was
Yes.
hysterical. So.
Yes. Yeah. Drinking is a rite of passage. I will give you that. Yes. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, anyways,
I love it.
yeah. So why don't you show me yours? I'll stop sharing.
Okay.
You there?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you see me, hear me?
There you are.
Okay.
I can.
Okay. So it looks like you have to enable screen sharing for me.
Oh, goodness.
Let me do a little Google search. See.
It just says one could multiple participants. Okay, advanced host only all participants. All participants.
Got it.
Okay.
Okay. Alrighty. Um, okay. Share. Okay. Let's see here. It looks like you're looking at everything here.
Yeah, I'm looking at the
Okay. So
presentation.
can you see that the allegory of the cave?
Yep. There we go.
So I did this thing in some of the slides where I was just kind of thinking about how we perceive the world around us and how that really informs our ability to lead, do whatever it is that we're doing, make decisions. So the quote is the only charge I could bring against the fellows and scholars of whatever the college might happen to be was that in protection of their turf, which has been rolled for 300 years in succession, they had sent my little fish into hiding. So this is from Wolf. And I said 300 years of succession makes me
Mhm.
think about mental models, which are passed down from generation to generation. Ideas and beliefs become just the way things are and are rarely questioned. And to question long held social norms feels threatening. Ipso facto, progress can feel destabilizing. Ergo, people rail against it to protect their way of life. And so that like resonates with me because I quoted a translation of the allegory of cave. Most people are not just
Mhm.
comfortable in their ignorance, but hostile to anyone who points it out. So like the idea is that with with the allegory of the cave, you get the guy who's chained to the wall. And you have all these people chained to the wall, and all they know are the shadows that they see because there are fires above them and people walking by.
Mhm.
So he's away from the wall. He goes upstairs. He goes up and he's like, "Oh my God, there's all this stuff," and I had no idea. So he goes down, and then the people reject what he has to say. He's like, "Guys, there's more out there. There's more than we know. There's more than just this." And they're like, "Nope, not having it. No, thank
Yeah.
you." And so, when I think about Virginia Woolf and I think about like what she was talking about, I just kept thinking about the allegory of the cave. So I did like a few slides on it. Then there were two quotes here, and so like this one, research on self-fulfilling prophecies provides ample evidence that people can act in ways that are consistent with others' expectations. When you expect people to
Mhm.
fail, they probably will. If you expect them to succeed, they probably will. So I say the Pygmalion effect is a great example of how our realities are shaped by deeply held beliefs. This example goes further to demonstrate that our beliefs not only impact ourselves, but shape the experience of those around us. If I went into a coaching role having already decided the characteristics of an athlete without context, without understanding, those beliefs would undoubtedly shape my actions towards said athlete. In the absence of meaningful communication, my actions will eventually shape that athlete to fit the characteristics that I previously held. This happens. I see coaches every day walk in,
Yeah,
oh, it doesn't try. Oh, this da 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 da. Like, and it's actually kind of a problem in my program, I believe. Just some of the coaches have such low opinion of the kids. And I'm like, if you think they're so terrible, how are you going to push them to get anything done?
right.
Bonkers to me. So like a coach will say like, oh, they're just, they're not trying hard enough. And that's the end of the sentence. And then I'll step in and say, and so what are you going to do about it? That the conversation can't end with, oh,
Mhm.
kids are terrible. Because if that's honestly how you feel about the kids, don't do this. That's, you know what I mean? Kids are different nowadays. I thoroughly
Yeah.
understand that. But I'm looking around in this industry and I see a lot of amazing teams. I see a lot of amazing kids doing crazy things that I could never do.
Mhm.
So just the idea that all kids are terrible, I couldn't
Mhm.
buy it. And then the other quote that I had was, when you believe that people are winners, you behave in ways that communicate that they are precisely that, not just in your own words, but also through tone of voice, posture, gestures, and facial expressions. So I said, every single day, I implore my coaching colleagues to understand how their viewpoints on our athletes impacts every coaching decision they make. If we are to become the most competitive gym in our area, we
Mhm.
must first believe that the athletes we have can accomplish that. And if we don't believe that, then what are we doing? So then, like, I do a little theme down.
Absolutely.
I said, one of the themes in Plato's allegory of the cave is that knowledge or discovery can be disorienting. Imagine learning that everything that ever was never was. For someone who knows the why of something, they struggle to see another in denial despite the very existence of the fact. So, for someone who's knowledgeable, it's hard to see someone else deny something that's so evidently true. But that's just it. Throw a frog in boiling water and it jumps. So too is enlightenment. Without gradual ease, abruptness with
Mhm.
knowledge can deny someone their very identity. Growth and change are most effective as a long, graduated process. So, like,
Yeah.
how, let's just look at politics. Either people on either side are just very engrossed on their point of view. And despite any type of
Mhm.
fact, any type of number that might actually state otherwise, they just become even more entrenched. And it's because people they have tied their identity to things so much that for that thing to not be true, they will absolutely lose who they are.
Mhm.
So
Absolutely.
yeah, so like I
Did you read that Allegory of the Cave in one of your classes? Because it sounds like familiar. I can't remember which OGL class, but I thought we
it's come
touched
up,
on it. Did you
it's come
touch
up
on it?
It's come up 5 times so far in school. Um, I
Okay.
I'm aware of the allegory of the cave. When the Matrix, you remember the movie The Matrix?
Mhm.
When it
I don't
came,
think I've ever watched it the whole way through.
it's great. But uh, when it came out, I learned that it was actually kind of loosely inspired or loosely based on the allegory of the cave. The idea that you wake up to a new reality.
Mm.
And so ever since
Mhm.
learning
Mhm.
that, I I've read The Allegory of the Cave, like a translated version of it, obviously not like the original words of Plato. And then I read
Yeah.
it multiple
Hmm.
times through school. And I think it's such a powerful thing because when we realize that our perceptions really kind of dictate a lot of how we think and feel, and we have the opportunity to have more than one
Hmm.
point of view, then we actually truly are free, if you will. So, so yeah, those are
Very true. Very
my,
true.
my two favorite slides because I was like, I'm gonna tie this all to the allegory of the cave. So, so that's what I did.
Hmm. Nice.
Yeah, thanks. All right, let me stop sharing. Let's
Do you
see.
want to go over your aha moment since you have it right there?
I will. Yeah, sure, absolutely, no problem. Okay, let's see here. Let me organize my screen again. Okay, all right.
You don't have to share your screen, just read it.
Yeah, I mean organized so that I can see you and the paper. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Um,
Oh, got it, got it, got it. Okay.
yeah. So my biggest aha moment, thinking about listening and receiving feedback as a learned skill was a huge breakthrough for me because it repositioned my focus from how messages are delivered to what I actually do with that delivery. I tend to take messages, especially in high stakes scenarios, and attach them directly to either my identity or my worth. This action can
Mhm.
create a situation where I am focused on how the delivery made me feel and not on the actual content of the message itself. So, as a skill, I can take both expertly and poorly delivered messages and find objective value in what's being communicated first before I attach the message to anything of meaningful value to me. So, like, oh,
Mhm.
like,
We talked about that, didn't we kind of talk about that at
yeah,
in one of our like a few
yeah,
weeks ago, a couple weeks
like
ago.
last
Yeah.
week, week before, or whatever. But I
Hmm.
was literally sitting there and I was
Hmm.
thinking to myself, like, oh, yeah, like I don't have to be offended if
Right.
just because this person is coming in hot, or just because this person, I don't know, maybe who knows. Even if someone comes to me and says,
Hmm.
"You're terrible," you're just the worst. I don't
Hmm.
really have to be offended by that, and just like, and
Because
even
it's their opinion too, right?
yeah, it's kind of like, alrighty, well, maybe there's some value here. Why don't you go ahead and unpack that for me? And then I can otherwise
Hmm.
just remain relatively calm and unaffected. Not in like a sociopath
Hmm.
way where I don't care, like I care, but I
Right.
have to
Right.
be done on like, oh my goodness, this thing is being said and I feel attacked. Which I think we kind of
Well,
inherently
not only that,
go ahead.
if you stay, like you said, oh, well, why don't you unpack that for me rather than getting emotional, you probably de-escalate them a little bit as well
Right, because they're
by
expecting
not getting, by listening to them rather than getting defensive. Yeah.
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 And it's been
Yeah.
a game changer in my relationship. Because
Nice.
a lot of his like really difficult things that he needs to communicate generally comes from a very emotional place. So then it's
Hmm.
at times delivered with a lot of gusto, if you will. So it's been hard not to like a
Yeah.
defensive posture because it's like, whoa, hey, this is like feeling really super intense. Like, I want to hear you, but can you soften it up a little bit?
Yeah.
And now I realize, like,
Yeah.
no matter how he says it, I'm just not going to take it there. I'm just going to like evaluate it first and see what
Yeah.
I can get from it. I'm still
Hmm.
have my ask. Like, you
Hmm.
can't yell at me, you can't talk down to me. There are boundaries. But I
Absolutely.
change the way I receive feedback. And I just thought that was such an eye-opening thing. So what about you?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it said, did you have any like aha moments, see the light, examples team members have spoken of the rites of passage being confusing? I struggled a little bit with the rites of passage and how to like relate it to business sense.
Mhm.
So when Dawn shared what her boss had related to her, it kind of helped me really understand. So like basically when she explained, yeah, the business starts, one with the CEO, and then you walk through the door with another CEO, and then through another, like maybe even a family business as the kids start it and how the culture changes. So I kind of, for me, like helped me understand from a business perspective more so what rites of passage were. And then also, a promotion within a business can be a rite of passage as well. So that's just like, I mean, reading the text, there was a lot of valuable information, but I feel like I've been like a people manager in leadership for 13 years, and I've been introduced to a lot of concepts. So there wasn't anything that I would say was like, I don't want to say mind blowing is the right thing. I learned a lot, don't get me wrong, but I'm saying there was nothing surprising for me because it all made sense.
Yeah.
So
What was
the one thing where I got clarity was Dawn's explanation, because she took it further and she went to her boss and said, "Have you ever heard of this rites of passage?" I don't know if you remember when she said that, and she was kind of confused on it as well. And then she talked to her boss. So her sharing what her boss had said kind of helped me put it into context
Hmm.
from a professional standpoint.
I likened rites of passage um to um forming, storming, norming, and performing. Tuckman's
Mhm,
stages of group development. And so,
mhm.
I was like, the first stage is like, like forming. And then the second stage is storming and norming. And then like that third stage
Yeah,
is performing. And so I kind of thought about it in that way. Because it's like a transformation, right? You have this waiting period,
yeah.
you go through this thing, and then you come out on the other side different. And
Mhm. Yeah, that's a really good analogy. You're comparing it to that. Yeah.
yeah, so I was so that's like the best way that I can think of it. But I mean, I think it has a lot of it can be applied to nearly endless things. So
Yeah,
I'm
very
just
true.
listening
Very
to my
true.
book this morning. Um so what was a prompt? I answered prompt 4, and I think we were supposed to speak to a resource.
Yeah,
And then
we're supposed to share something. I shared a video, and maybe I did this wrong, I don't know. So from the leadership resources, talked about, media, ebooks, e-documents. I don't know if you've ever watched, and I am going to put the URL in the chat of, let's see. Do you know who Simon Sinek is?
I sure do.
I love him, and he has this great video of how leaders inspire action.
Yes.
So, the Golden Circle, have you ever watched that video?
I know what you're talking about. It's been a while since I've seen it.
Mhm.
Give me a second here. I'm opening all the things up. We got our chat. Let me hello? Okay, let
It was
me
just, yeah, it was just the link in the chat if you're interested, if you haven't seen it before. So it's about like what great leaders think, act, and communicate in the same way, which is so he was looking at like what do great leaders do differently, how do they think, act, and communicate, like all in the same way, which is opposite from what everybody else. So this is where he came up with the golden circle. So with the why being in the middle, the how, and then the what. So everyone knows what they do. Some people know how they do it, but not everyone understands the why. And so, what's your purpose? What's your cause? So, great leaders act from the inside out, first with their why, then the how, then the what. So, it gives this really good example. And I didn't like write that down of like two different ways to look at like selling computers or selling a computer chip or whatever it was. And just by how he phrased it, when he phrased it first about like the why and at the beginning of it, it just was like a totally different message. So people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. And don't just hire people who need a job, hire people who believe what you believe. If you hire people who believe what you believe, they will work for you with blood, sweat, and tears, as opposed to somebody who just needs a job, which I believe is totally true.
I agree. I have
So,
some. Yes, I think it's really great. Um, Let me see here. So I'm in a pivot because I had something to share about like our textbook, and really it was just kind of like,
mm,
I don't know, just my sort of final opinion on like how I was feeling about all the things that we had learned in class. But I did say that I
mhm,
wanted to share something from Brene Brown at the beginning of the class. So
mhm.
we're going to close this off. My poor little laptop. It's like I'm doing too many things. Okay, let's see here.
Yeah, you have too many things open at once and then
Yes. Yeah.
it doesn't want to behave, huh?
Yeah, my partner is like, I think I'm gonna get you. I have like a Surface Pro, but it's a mini. And I got like a mini because I'm thinking like, oh, I'm just gonna do like emails and homework. And then of course
Mhm.
I'm like, just kidding. I'm gonna like do Zoom calls and streaming and all this other stuff. So I'm like, maybe I do need something a little bit better.
I think your internet, your hotel internet might be a little bit, because like every once in a while you're choppy.
Yeah. Can you hear me though?
I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Let's see here. Okay. Okay.
Have you finished your PowerPoint yet? Did you turn it in or not yet?
I've done this thing where I divided the remainder of slides that I have into each day. So I'm doing 2 slides a day.
There you go.
And, and
Hey,
that
whatever
is,
works.
yeah, and that is just the whole thing of how I'm accomplishing the rest of this class. Because I'm like as little as possible, please. Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. All
Are
right.
you sharing your screen? No.
Yeah, I'm gonna share it here.
Okay.
So, what is empathy and why is it very different than sympathy? Empathy fuels connection, sympathy drives disconnection.
Can you hear
There
it?
we
Empathy,
go.
very
Okay.
interesting. Teresa Wiseman is a nursing scholar who studied professions, very diverse professions where empathy is relevant, and came up with 4 qualities of empathy: perspective taking, the ability to take the perspective of another person or recognize their perspective as their truth; staying out of judgment, not easy when you enjoy it as much as most of us do; recognizing emotion in other people and then communicating that. Empathy is feeling with people. And to me, I always think of empathy as this kind of sacred space when someone's kind of in a deep hole and they shout out from the bottom and they say, I'm stuck, it's dark, I'm overwhelmed. And then we look and we say, hey, climb down. I know what it's like down here, and you're not alone. Sympathy is, ooh, it's bad, no, you want a sandwich? Empathy is a choice, and it's a vulnerable choice, because in order to connect with you, I have to connect with something in myself that knows that feeling.
Yeah.
Rarely, if ever, does an empathic response begin with at least. I had a, yeah. And we do it all the time because you know what? Someone just shared something with us that's incredibly painful, and we're trying to silver lining it. I don't think that's a verb, but I'm using it as one. We're trying to put the silver lining around it. So I had a miscarriage. Oh, at least you know you can get pregnant. I think my marriage is falling apart. At least you have a marriage. John's getting kicked out of school. At
Yeah.
least Sarah is an A student. But one of the things we do sometimes in the face of very difficult conversations is we try to make things better. If I share something with you that's very difficult, I'd rather you say, I don't even know what to say right now. I'm just so glad you told me. Because the truth is, rarely can a response make something better. What makes something better is connection.
Mhm.
Yeah, let me stop the sharing.
I like that.
I know
Yeah.
it's just so. It's just
That's,
so simple.
you can use that on a personal and a professional level, you know?
Well, and I think it like kind of also gets to the thing of like we always get into fix it mode. So someone shares a problem,
Mhm.
so we start throwing solutions at them. And it's like jarring at times and even at sometimes the conversation goes south because well now they feel defensive or whatnot, as opposed to just like sitting with them in the moment and not even necessarily having anything to say, because we're always looking for the perfect answer. And so
Mhm.
I'm just really impressed how in 2 minutes and 30 seconds that video has so much to say. So
Absolutely. It
yeah.
reminds me of a conversation I had with my younger son yesterday. I called him just to check in. He goes to ASU
Mhm.
and hadn't heard from him in like, I don't know, 3 or 4 days or whatever. And so I called him and didn't answer. He called me back. He's like, "You called?" I'm like, "Yeah." I'm like, "I haven't heard from you. What's going on?" "Nothing," and I'm like, "Are you okay? Doesn't sound like you're okay." And he broke up with his girlfriend, if I don't know, maybe before Christmas time or whatever, that he was with for 4 years. And
Mhm.
I'm like, thank God he doesn't see it. You know,
Mhm.
they weren't a good fit. He like spent like 2 years too long with her or whatever.
Sure.
But anyways,
Yeah.
and he was just like really missing her yesterday. So I just kind of told him, I said, "Kiddo," I said, "there's nothing I can do to take away your pain." I said, "You're just gonna have to go through it, and some days will be better than the others, and then you're just gonna eventually brush yourself. You're gonna wake up." And like I said, every time I had a major breakup, it took me like 6 months. Then I don't know what the pivot is, and then it's like all of a sudden you're like, "Yeah, I'm done." It's like, uh, other fish in the sea or whatever, all the cliches that you
Mhm.
want to tell them. But what I really wanted to tell him, but of course I didn't, because I thought I would like send him into a spiral, is like, "I saw a picture on Facebook of her for Valentine's Day with a new dude." So I'm like, I
That,
wanted to tell him that, but I couldn't, because that
yeah.
would, but I'm like, "Oh, you're sitting here more," because I just said, "Do you see her on campus at all?" He's like, "I haven't seen her since like November." I'm like, "Okay," and I'm just like, he has no idea. Here he is mourning for somebody who's not mourning over him, you know?
It happens a lot, and
Yeah,
I mean, people fall in love with people who don't fall in love back, and people love people
absolutely.
who love back. And, that was one of the
Absolutely.
eye-opening moments for myself too. But yeah, that I had a breakup in 2018 that resulted in a lapse. And that was really difficult. And so I chose to go to therapy.
Mm,
Um, and
mhm.
I've been in therapy ever since. But it's been like just this kind of wonderful thing of like my relationship to myself really is a good indicator and a good prediction to how successful I'm going to be with in my relationships with other people. So,
Yeah.
the better we are to ourselves and like the better we see ourselves, the healthier all of our relationships are
Mm,
going to be. And so, yeah.
yeah.
Well,
But seeing that video made me think, was I empathetic enough yesterday with my son, or was I trying to fix it, for him? I think I probably did a little bit of both,
mhm,
trying to like give him some keep busy, maybe you just need to, have you eaten yet? You know how it is when you don't eat, and
that's
just all
true.
the mommy stuff. But at the same time, it's like I just told him, I said, "There's nothing I can do to change it." I said, "And it sucks. There's no way around it. It sucks. Mending a broken heart sucks. And there's nothing I can do." So
Yeah.
I can relate to that little video right now. So that was a good one.
I love it. Um, well, I guess we're just at the end of our the end of our road here. So
We are. So I don't know, who knows? I have 3 more classes. No. I have 2 and then 2. So 4 more classes left. So I probably won't see you in the pro seminar classes because that you're not there yet, but
I
who
am at,
knows? Maybe we'll be in. Are you doing summer class?
no, I'm transferring to IU.
You're what?
I'm transferring to IU, Indiana
You're
University.
transferring to a different school?
I am after this semester. Well, I never realized how much out of state tuition I was paying.
Where's IU?
Indiana University.
Oh,
So
do
they
you
have,
live in Indiana?
I do. I live in Indiana.
Okay, all
Yeah.
right.
So they have their
Okay.
Kelly, they have a
Oh.
great business school, the Kelly School of Business, that I'm transferring.
Mhm.
I'm in the Carey School of Business right now at ASU. And
Oh,
so
are you? I thought you were, so you're not doing OGL, you're not in a
I am.
leadership,
I'm
you're
doing
in.
both. I'm doing OGL and HR.
Ah,
Yeah, which
okay.
is why like when people were like, "So when are you done?" I'm like, I don't know. I just wake up every day and I go to class, and then one day I'll be there. That's kind of how I look at it. So, but I'm in a
Yeah. So are all your units gonna transfer for you?
I sent them my transcript last year. Hey, take a look at this, can most of these transfer? And they said they could. Because if it was going to be a situation where a lot of them weren't, then I was just going to tough it out and just stay at ASU.
Mhm.
But it looks pretty
Mhm.
good. I won't lose that many credits. So I think I would rather transfer and finish what I'm doing. And they can do things with my organizational leadership credits from ASU. So because they have a leadership thing
Oh,
there too.
good,
Yeah. So it's
good.
good.
Well, good. Don't give up. Make
I
sure you
won't.
finish.
Oh, I will. No. I didn't go
You
back
don't
and I
want to
haven't
find
gone this
yourself,
long. I've been in school since
okay.
2019. Um, so I've been going for
Mhm.
a while.
I've been in school since 2017.
Okay. So,
So
don't
don't feel
worry.
bad.
I assure you. Well, I forget the girl who wrote this book called Girl Wash Your Face. It's a self-help book. I read it. It's great.
Mhm.
2 things from it. A, always keep your
Mhm.
promises to yourself. If you don't, you won't trust yourself.
Mhm.
B, goals,
Mhm.
not time limits. And I have lived to that, and the school is a testament to it. I have a goal of graduating, but I'm not really stuck on a time.
Amen.
Yes. So,
Amen. Because I, at one point, was like, I'm going to be 56 years old when I graduate. And I talked to somebody and they said, you're going to be 56 years old, whether at some point, whether you're in school or you're not in school. So why not stay in school? And who cares if you're 56 years old when you finish?
agreed.
You know?
Completely. Absolutely.
So, and I'm
Uh,
like, you know what? That makes a lot of sense. So,
well, it's true. It's
anyways,
never too late, right?
yeah.
Yes.
Well, good luck, Michael. I hope you get there soon. And it was a pleasure meeting you and doing our co-mentoring together.
Yes. I appreciate you. Thank you for all of your insight and good luck to you.
Thank you. All right. Are you going to send on your video, your
Yeah,
YouTube
I'm gonna do
video
my
link?
little YouTube uplink moment.
Okay, because I won't be able to do this because this will be sent to Dawn since she created.
Yeah, but we can communicate with her and she can still
Yeah.
post the link in the right place. So
Yeah, but
yeah,
she sent us her link yesterday. I don't know if you saw that
yeah, I did see
in the
that.
inbox.
Yeah,
Okay,
I'll text in
okay.
the group and say, hey Don, I'm pretty sure the link from this meeting sent to your Dropbox or to your like account. Do you
Yeah,
mind just posting it as an announcement?
yeah.
Okay, all right. Thank you. I
Perfect.
appreciate you.
Okay.
Okay, bye.
Thanks, Michael. Have a good night.